been in Muhlenbrook.
How many years have you wrestled for?
2.
Well, we're going to skip that one because you haven't had 2 coaching staffs.
Coach Joyce did coach me before.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, then what's the biggest difference between the 2 coaching staffs that you've had?
Intensity.
All right. What's your favorite wrestling memory?
When Teddy was wrestling a North County kid, and the kid crapped himself.
I got pictures.
What's your favorite? What have you learned from wrestling?
How to be determined and work hard.
Who would win in a fight out of all the coaches?
It's tough because Coach Chad is big, but Coach DR has technique. Coach Chad.
What advice would you give to the underclassmen?
Work hard.
My name is Augie Maluski.
How many years have you wrestled for?
I've wrestled for 4 years.
What's the biggest difference between the 2 coaching staffs you've had?
Well, Coach Joyce, he ran practice a lot differently. He used to we'd drill for a while and we'd go live for 5 minutes and sprint. This one we drill hard drill. We do a lot of long drills. It's a lot harder for a longer period of time, and it really just conditioning-wise brings you up as a wrestler.
What's your favorite wrestling memory?
Favorite wrestling memory is when I was, sophomore year, Coach Joyce put me in a tournament in Ocean City, one on the shore, and I should not have been there. I was not a very good wrestler, and I got destroyed, but I needed a ride home. So Coach Joyce gave me a ride home, but we left the school at 12:30 at night, and we didn't get back till about 2:30, but we made a stop at McDonald's, and we had McDonald's together, and then we stopped at a gas station and he took a nap for about 45 minutes or so.
That's your favorite memory?
What lessons have you learned from wrestling?
Is that favorite memory? Oh, my bad.
What lessons have you learned?
What lessons have I learned? Well, it's just taught me a lot of discipline, as a person, you have to push through even when you don't want to. You have, days where you're slow and you just don't want to keep going, but you have to.
Who would win in a fight out of all the coaches?
I don't know. I think probably Coach Fleming. He has a lot of fighting experience, but I guess they all have wrestling experience. That's it.
What advice would you give to underclassmen?
Underclassmen, I would definitely say, you know what, work hard and try your hardest next year. When you come back, give it all you have every time.
My name is Pat Halstead.
And how many years have you been wrestling?
Wrestled for 4 years.
Okay. What is the biggest difference between the 2 coaching staffs that we've had?
Well, with the first staff, except for Coach Fleming, because he was perfect in every way for all 4 years. I'm not being sarcastic. The old coaches, they would just kind of yell stuff at us, but they would never really explain it that well.
Squeeze.
And they would always tell us to shoot and shoot and shoot, but we would never practice shooting fast and getting in on takedowns and working on our feet. But these coaches, they explain everything we need to do pretty well. They tell us exactly what we should be doing, and they actually have us drill it and drill it a lot so that we get it down and fix it.
What's your favorite memory from wrestling?
Favorite wrestling memory? Probably have to be last year at the SEVERNA Park Scuffle when during my match with a Mount Hebron kid, I took a shot and I went in between his legs, and Coach Chad, after we got a stalemate, yelled some pretty inspiring things at me. It really helped me pull out that match and win it. So yeah, that'd probably be it.
What lessons have you learned from wrestling?
From wrestling, I learned that with anything in life, anything you want, any big goals, there's got to be a lot of individual effort there. While you're going to have people around you helping you, you still got to put in a lot of the work yourself, and you got to be willing to sacrifice a lot to achieve your goals and miss out on things that other people are doing just because you want something more than they want the things they're doing.
Who would win in a fight out of all the coaches?
I feel like in the end it would come down to Coach TR and Coach Rich, because Coach Rich would just kind of be moseying around out to the side while everybody else beat the crap out of each other. Coach TR would be in the middle, just beating the crap out of everyone. But I feel like TR would win out in the end. I've heard stories.
And what advice do you have for the underclassmen?
Wrestle as much as possible in the off season, during the season, as much as you can. Just get mat time, because that's the biggest thing with guys at this school is we don't have the experience that a lot of other guys do. So you just got to make up for lost time in the off season and whenever you really can.
Matthew Zerlo.
How many years have you wrestled for?
This is my third year wrestling.
All right. What's the biggest difference between the two coaching staffs you've had?
Based on my experience, probably the amount of intensity and also the emphasis on staying neutral and attacking, keeping on attacking with KOA.
All right. What's your favorite wrestling memory?
My favorite wrestling memory was when Mike Shaner, wrestling against Meade, we had a little fun with him when Coach Chevy was screaming at him to put a few underhooks in, and he turned to Coach and said, "I'm trying!"
What lessons have you learned from wrestling?
I've learned to always stay tough, even though my numerous injuries have degraded from that, but I've learned that you need to keep on working.
Who would win in a fight? Chevy, Rob, Rich, TR, or Chad?
100% Coach Rich. I have no explanation for that, but Coach Rich.
What advice would you give to the underclassmen?
Keep at it. I know that I've gotten a bunch of injuries over my wrestling career, but keep going at it and you'll keep getting better.
Michael Moore,
How many years have you wrestled for?
2 years.
We're going to skip the first one too because you never really knew Coach Joyce, but what is your favorite wrestling memory?
My favorite wrestling memory is probably when my South River match in my first year here, where during the blood time, Coach Chevy and Coach Chad, instead of giving me advice about my match, decided to ask me to analyze President Obama's political policy in Congress. That was definitely an interesting match for me.
What lessons have you learned from wrestling?
I would say after you've fought a kid for 6 minutes on a mat, nothing else really scares you that much. And, you know, when you're on, you just gotta get up. I think getting off bottom is very symbolic for a lot of things in life.
Who would win in a fight out of all the coaches?
I would put my money on Chevy because I feel like he has some like hidden trick up his sleeve from like his past or something that he'll just pull out and nobody would expect.
What advice do you have to give to underclassmen?
The more you wrestle, the better it gets. Like, just get that experience, keep going, work out in the summer because, trust me, it pays off in the season.
What's your name?
My name's Michael Schreiber.
How many years have you wrestled for?
On and off since like fourth or fifth grade.
And what's the biggest difference between the two coaching staffs that you've had?
The old coaches, they kind of like, I feel like they focused more on like varsity and stuff. They really like, for JV it was like more broad, but the new coaches, they like focus on actually taking people down with shots and I don't know, like they give like JV a little more attention because it is the future of our program, so.
What's your favorite wrestling memory?
My favorite wrestling memory, there's a lot of them, but I think one of the better ones was sophomore year when Brendan Bethay, who was a senior at the time, he ran into Coach Ziff, and Coach Ziff turned around, threw him against the wall, and started cussing him out, and it's funny.
What lessons have you learned from wrestling?
I mean, really just, like, there's going to be, like, walls that you have to break through in life, and wrestling, like, really gives you the ability to break through those walls, and it allows you to deal with, like, people that are hard on you in life, and you won't give up easily.
Who would win in a fight out of all the coaches?
I was going to say Coach Chevy, but I feel like Coach Chad would throw something dirty in there, like a punch or two, but well, I mean, all right, if it's a fight, then probably TR, I feel like. But if it's a wrestling match, definitely Coach Chad, because he'll just like cross-face you or something.
What advice do you have for underclassmen?
Lift hard and work in the off season. Try to like go to as many like programs as possible, like camps. Was it Blue Claw and other stuff like that?
My name is Teddy Jackson.
How many years have you wrestled for?
This is my 3rd year wrestling.
What's the biggest difference between the two coaching staffs you've had?
So starting my sophomore year, I feel like our coaches now tend to work with one-on-one more of what certain kids are good at, and the coaches before were just kind of like a broad teaching. So I think these coaches are a lot better at picking apart, which kid can do what well.
What's your favorite wrestling memory?
My favorite memory is probably this year against Old Mill. I had a good match. I won in overtime, and we did pretty good as a team as well. So that was probably one of my favorite memories for this year so far.
What lessons have you learned from wrestling?
I learned just to be tough, work hard, and you can achieve anything if you just work hard and, don't be, don't be, putting your head down when things get hard, and just push through things.
Who would win in a fight out of all the coaches?
I'd probably say Coach Rob. He's pretty big, and he looks like he could probably fight some people pretty well.
What advice do you have to give to underclassmen?
Lift in the off season. Do something in the off season. Don't just sit around. And just work hard when you're in the practice room, and you'll be good at wrestling, hopefully, when you go into matches.
I just want to say thank you to all the coaches, all of our parents for driving us and putting up with the long hours, to Christine for dealing with injuries, and to everyone, the managers who helped out a lot this year, our teammates, and the coaches again, just because you've been so great to us coming into this new school and giving us all you got. So we have something to say to you guys. We love you.
We love you.
Love you.